Hi children, welcome back. This is your Bhagya ma'am again. Students, today we are going to learn a new chapter in geography, second chapter, that is land, soil, water, natural vegetation and wildlife. Students, at the end of this chapter, you will be able to learn importance of the land, land use and the conservation of land resource. Before we start the chapter, let us go with an activity. Children, you have to observe the land, the type of soil and the water availability in the region, and you should write it detailedly on a piece of paper and send a pic to my WhatsApp number. Okay. Children, do you know one fact? 90% of the world population occupies just only 30% of land area. The remaining 70% of land is either sparsely populated or uninhabited. It means 30% of the whole area is having the largest amount of population than the remaining. Before we get into the topic, we will know a small story from Africa, Tanzania. Here you can see the picture of Tanzania in the Africa. In the Tanzania, there is a small village. Mamba is a girl who gets up early morning to fetch water in the small village in Tanzania. She has to walk a long way and returns after a few hours. She then helps her mother in the domestic work and joins her brother in taking care of the goats. They own some goats to rear. All her family owns just a piece of rocky land around a small hut. Mamba's father can grow barley and maize, beans in that small piece of land with a great hard work. This is enough to feed their family for the whole year. Here is an example of Peter from New Zealand. He lives in New Zealand in the heart of the sheep rearing region, where his family runs a wool processing factory. Every day when he returns from school, Peter watches his uncle taking care of the sheep. The sheep yard is situated on a wide grassy plain with hills in far off distance. It is managed in a scientific way using the latest technology. Peter's family also grows vegetables through organic farming. Students, what do you observe from the story of Mamba and Peter? Yes, Mamba and Peter stay in two different parts of the world and lead a very different lives. This difference is because of the differences of the quality of land, soil, water, natural vegetation, animals and the uses of technology. The availability of resources is the main reason places differ from each other. Land. It is the most important natural resources. It covers only about 30% of the total area of the earth's surface, and all the parts of the land is not habitable. The uneven distribution of population in different parts of the world is mainly due to some varied features or characteristics of land and climate. The rugged topography, the steep slopes of mountains, the low-lying areas are susceptible to water logging, desert areas, forests, etc. are normally sparsely populated or uninhabitable. Plains and river valleys are suitable for agriculture. Here you can see the picture of plains. These plains are suitable for growing crops. And here you can see the river valleys, which are also suitable for densely population. So the maximum population lies on very less amount of area, that is plains and river valleys. Land use. Children, land is used for different purposes such as agriculture, forestry, mining, building houses, roads and setting up of industries. Here you can see the fields, industry, the roads and the mines. This is commonly termed as land use. The land which is using for different purposes such as growing of crops, industries, mining and laying of roads. Such can be commonly termed as land use. The land use is determined by physical factors such as topography, soil, climate, minerals, availability of water. It also has some human factors such as population and technology. All these factors determines the land use. Here you can see land use in selected countries: Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, India, Japan, Russia, UK, USA. In these countries, the cropland, how much amount of land under agriculture, how much amount of land is paid for pastures, how much amount of land under forest cover and other uses. Example, construction of buildings, roads, etc. The world together is having 11% of land under crop area and pastures 26%, forest 31%, for other uses 32%. Land can also be classified on the basis of ownership, such as private land and community land. Land which is owned by individuals is called private land. Example, buildings, agricultural fields. People own their own plots of buildings and agricultural fields. That belongs to private land. The land which is owned by community for common uses is called community land. Example, function halls, parks, picnic spots, etc. Even orchards also, because these can be utilized by everybody in the community. Such kind of community lands are also called as common property resources. Here you can see the land change. The quality of land differs from place to place. If it is on mountains, the quality of land is less because the land is not that much fertile when compared to plains. And plains, it is very much helpful for growing of plants. Here you can see the 4 pictures how the land is changing over time. Students, people and their demands are ever growing, but the availability of land is limited. The quality of land is also differs from place to place. People started encroaching the common lands to build up commercial areas, housing complexes, whatnot. For everything, they're using this land in the urban areas to expand the agricultural land in the rural areas. Today, the vast changes in the land use pattern also reflects the cultural changes in our society. Land degradation, landslides, soil erosion, desertification are the major threats to the environment because of the expansion of agriculture and constructional activity. Growing population and their ever-growing demands has led to the large-scale destruction of forest cover and arable land, and has created a fear of losing this natural resource. Therefore, the present rate of degradation of land must be checked. Here are some of the following ways to conserve the land resources: afforestation, land reclamation, regulated use of chemical pesticides and fertilizers, and checks on overgrazing. These are some of the common methods used to conserve land resources. Students, in the next class, we are going to learn about soil and the factors which affects the soil formation. That's all for today. Stay tuned.